Legislators are busy hammering out a budget during the legislative session. It's important to remember that voters can also have a voice for new laws or to change existing ones. Talking about the initiative process, a form of direct democracy. You may remember initiative guru Tim Eyman, who successfully got 11 initiatives passed over about a 20-year period. Everybody remembers the $30 car tabs. And last year, voters approved 4 initiatives from the group Let's Go Washington on issues ranging from natural gas regulations to police pursuits and a whole bunch in between. Joining me now, former State Senator Reuven Carlyle. We had to talk about this a little bit ahead of time, and I'm glad we did, because I kept bringing up the initiatives, and you're like, well, that's half the equation. That's the part that we all see. It's very public, but there's a whole other side, which you have been involved with.
That's right. Remember, under our Constitution, all power resides with the people. So the Constitution really cares about direct democracy, it cares about representative democracy, and the initiative and the referendum process puts just a really healthy tension on the legislative process. And that's what we see, not only in these past initiatives, but in the pressure during the negotiations over the budget. We see that same pressure.
So recently, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we talked about the Let's Go Washington, specifically the parents' rights in schools. That was, I think it was Initiative 2081. It was passed. The Senate's gone back and amended it a little bit, and now you've got Let's Go Washington coming out again with a new initiative to undo what was just done. But that's part of the process.
It is.
It may be frustrating for people who work so hard to get it done, but tell me how that plays out.
It is. Well, keep in mind that we all know that when a bill becomes a law, it goes through the entire committee process, the amendment process, it goes to the floor, and it gets debated between the House and the Senate.
It's like cutting down a movie.
Exactly. It's a whole bunch of process. Initiatives don't really go through that. They get written by one side. And the lawyers for that side sit down and they write out the initiative, and it goes all the way to the ballot if it gets the signatures. But that's the difference. So the legislative process includes just that rigorous back and forth and the debate, and the parties together try to, navigate it. And that's really the difference, is that one side gets to write an initiative and it doesn't get that stress test.
But if people say, hey, I like this looks great, and they vote on it, then why should the Senate or the House get to look at that and go, maybe we should fix that a little bit?
That's the essence of democracy, right? Direct democracy, representative democracy. And so we go into this budget season, for example, and there's all kinds of debates happening about whether or not there'll be taxes. And the question, of course, of taxes is there a business and occupation tax? Is there a tax on wealth? Is there a tax on intangible assets, they call it, sort of stocks and bonds, capital gains? There's conversations among the business community, the more traditional business community, the Chamber of Commerce and others, about whether or not there might be an initiative or a referendum to in effect repeal if there are taxes that they feel are punitive. So that tension exists in real time during the legislative process.
These are for lack of a better word, sometimes really sexy for the public. Something you can really resonate with you, that really resonates with you. So it's harder to maybe pass through that process, but quietly behind the scenes, that's constantly going on, and maybe has bigger implications than some of the others.
That's right. And again, Let's Go Washington, Brian Haywood funded a number of initiatives. The legislature adopted a few of them, so that took them off the ballot. And then the initiatives that went to the ballot, 3 of them were defeated by the voters and 1 was approved. So again, healthy tension goes back and forth, and it's in our Constitution since 1889, so it's not going anywhere.
Is there a point where it's like, how many times can that go back and forth? You just keep fighting as long as you want? I mean, you can, but...
Well, in this day and age, it costs a lot of money to get an initiative on the ballot, because most signature gatherers are paid. And so they're paid $1, $2, or $3 per signature, sometimes even more. And so if you're going for 400,000 signatures, you can imagine the amount of money that it actually takes. So there are a lot of barriers. In the old days, there was an argument, of course, that most initiatives were passionate volunteers and they stood out front of the supermarkets. Today, most of them are paid.
I think at the crux of it, the good thing is that if you don't like it, you can change it.
That's right.
Or at least fight to try to change it.
That's right.
All right, Reuven, appreciate it.
You bet.